Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Startup Central. I'm Avanne Dubash. This is a show that's based on new age technology, innovation, disruption, and anything related to the world of startups. If you've got any feedback, feel free to reach out to us on suc@etnow.tv. Well, let's get started then, and my guest for today is a special one who's joined in after a very long time. From a 700 square foot warehouse in Chennai to now listing on the NASDAQ, this is a company that has gone public and has made waves. Freshworks, which serves over 50,000 businesses globally across different sizes and industries. It's a leading SaaS startup, which has become the poster child for Indian tech IPOs when it listed on the NASDAQ. So let's discuss the long-term growth plans, the plans to turn profitable, how India looks as a SaaS story, and what his advice is when it comes to entrepreneurships as well as new age tech companies. Girish Mathrubootham is the CEO and founder at Freshworks and now joins us on Startup Central. Girish, thanks so much for taking time out. I just want to start by talking about the overall long-term picture when it comes to new age tech, and in particular the fact that we have seen that meltdown across the tech stocks on the NASDAQ. There are fears of a recession. How has all of this impacted Freshworks?
So I think we had a strong finish to Q4 and 2022. If you look at the results themselves, we grew the year, I think 37% on a constant currency basis, and it was a strong 2% beat on revenue. We also beat more than 6 million in net operating margin, and we generated 4 million of free cash flow for the quarter. So what is happening in the macro is actually benefiting Freshworks because our value proposition at Freshworks has always been about software that is easy to use and software that's offering customers a lower total cost of ownership. So in this environment where every business is trying to scrutinize their IT spend, I think the value proposition of Freshworks is resonating even more. And that we saw in Q4, where we actually recorded the highest number of net new customer logos ever in the history of Freshworks. So we see that as a positive. But having said that, we also would like to call out that expansion revenue is an important component of our growth, and that was under pressure. Expansion revenue is basically companies adding more seats, and when we have a macro environment where companies are either freezing hiring or laying off people, so that came under pressure. But overall, our churn remains stable in the macro, so we actually felt that we look at the positive side where new logos are still being added, and we had the best ever quarter. So we are not immune to the macro, but I think we performed really well, and I'm happy with how the team performed.
You know, but the company has exceeded expectations in terms of the operating results. You capped off a strong finish to the year with $133 million in terms of your quarterly revenue. So Girish, do you think that this sort of a run rate can continue going forward in terms of your revenues?
So we are focused on growing. In this macro, we have issued the guidance for 2023, but our focus is to keep growing. And when the macro situation turns, I think that will be a nice positive for all companies, where expansion coming in will help us accelerate. But till that time, we are not expecting the macro to change anytime soon. So our growth will probably be, again, along the lines where we have guided to around, I would say we have given a revenue range of 15 to 18% guidance for the year. But also we want to do it with efficiency. So we have told the markets and investors that, hey, we will be cash flow break even this year. And it started with Q4 of last year. So for the whole year, our focus is going to be on operational efficiency. And maybe next year when we talk, I would like to say that we are profitable.
That's interesting, but you know, you've gone on the record to say that close to 60% of the business comes from mid-market companies. Is that a trend that is going to continue, or will you be, you know, addressing a lot more of the large businesses and enterprises?
Yes, and this has been something that has happened over the years. And by the way, we still sell to a lot of SMB customers. And SMB for us, the definition is companies with less than 250 employees. And we define mid-market as 250 to 5,000 employees. And I always say that Freshworks, we are not built for just for the Fortune 500. We are built for the Fortune 5 million. And so what we saw, as you rightly said, approximately 60% of our business today comes from those mid-market and larger companies. And I think that is a natural phenomenon of the fact that our products are maturing well and are suitable to solve the needs of these larger enterprises. Again, our sweet spot is, I would say, 500 to 5,000 employees, which is where a lot of these mid-market deals come. But having said that, we have some really large enterprise customers also. For example, in India, the Mahindra Group, which we all know is a large conglomerate with more than 200,000 employees. So they are using our Freshservice product. And so we have many examples around the world where we are starting to win larger enterprises also. But having said that, doesn't mean that our focus on SMBs is not there. So we have a motion where we acquire a lot of smaller customers and mid-market customers. Now, some interesting facts that I can give you is the number of customers who are greater than $50,000, who pay us more than $50,000. Now, that is our fastest growing segment, and that went up, I think, 38% on a constant currency basis. And so we are super happy with that. And like that is a combination of customers who we landed as well as customers who expanded over time. And the majority of customers that we actually who pay us more than $5,000, so they're all new customer wins that we get.
So, you flagged off M&M right now. Can you just walk us through some of the other new big clients that have been added in Q4?
Sure. So I think if you look at Q4, some of the interesting customer wins, I will tell you. Addison Lee, for example, is a private taxi cab and courier company in the UK. And they were our Freshservice customer for a few years now. And but they were actually quite unhappy with their existing CRM solution. And after spending several years and customizing it and realizing that their employees are not using it, they came to us, and now they use Freshservice, Freshdesk, and Freshsales, and they're quite happy with that. Now, Swire Coca-Cola, like Swire Bottling, is actually world's largest Coca-Cola bottling, one of the world's largest Coca-Cola bottling companies in US and Australia. So they actually chose Freshservice for managing all of their employees' experience. So, and Carrefour Belgium, one of the world's top retailers, is actually using Freshworks for managing all of their employee experience. So I think in India, I would probably, Mahindra Group is a great example. We have Unilever in India actually supporting multiple global regions from their India digital team. So I think we have several examples like that.
That's quite a list. Now, Girish, SaaS is started to be a $1 trillion opportunity in India. Is this new IT wave, according to you? What's the future for India as a product nation?
That is something that I'm a big believer in, and we actually call it India SaaS, which is products built in India for the world. And I think we are seeing more and more examples of how to use India as a like India is a great strategic asset for anybody any entrepreneur who's wanting to build a technology business. So with access to top talent that we have in India and being able to actually build products for the global market and sell into global markets from India. So today we are seeing that wave happen, and the India SaaS opportunity is real. And I think it is going to be as big, if not even bigger, than the IT services wave of the 90s and the 2000s.
Yes, and it looks like we're only just getting started. Now, I'm curious to know your take on the budget, because there was a lot of focus on fintech, on AI, on digital adoption, innovation. Do you think enough was done, or that a lot more still needs to be done?
I think when I look at the budget and when I read all the experts' opinions, I think this is a good budget for our infrastructure, for the people. And I think there's a lot of good stuff there for digital. I'm actually quite optimistic and positive about the budget itself.
Positive on the budget, all in all. Now, what about the partnership with Meta? This is to help businesses elevate conversational customer experiences. Can you tell us a little bit more? Because I understand that the partnership with Meta has been on for quite some time.
Sure. So, first of all, the partnership with Meta is something, or Facebook, is something that has been going on for quite some time. Like we were, when we launched Freshdesk, we were one of the first help desk software to actually support Facebook message, like posts as well as Facebook private messages from the Facebook Messenger. So this partnership that we are talking about is in line with the recent industry shift that's been happening in the last, I would say, 2-3 years. If you actually think about all the messaging platforms under the Meta brand, which is WhatsApp, Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, today businesses actually want to engage their customers on these messaging channels, and more than 1 million messages are being sent, more than 1 billion messages are being sent every month by businesses to their users on these channels. Now, at Freshworks, what we have done is we recognize this trend, and we actually built a conversational engagement platform in our customer support solution, where we can help B2C companies automate their user conversations or support queries through self-service bots on these channels, as well as provide a superior agent experience where a customer support agent can actually support customers on these channels. And the press release that we put out 2 days ago also highlighted the work that some of our customers are doing in leveraging our conversational solutions, and we are excited about this partnership with Meta.
You know, right back to the numbers, because you generated a free cash flow of about $4 million in the quarter gone by. What are some of the key business drivers that you will look to adopt as you go into this year?
So I think the way we look at Freshworks is we have 4 key business drivers. And the first is our focus on continued product innovation. So, and if you look at 2022, like what we did around in the CX business, I just talked about self-service automation with bots, conversational messaging, and ticketing. We have the omni-channel customer support solution for any business. In ITSM, we actually, in the Fresh Service business for employee experience, we built ITSM integrated with IT operations management and enterprise service management, which is helping other teams like HR and finance offer the same modern employee experience for every employee. So, and in the unified CRM space in sales and marketing, so all the innovation that we did with an out-of-the-box customer data platform. So product innovation, continued focus on product innovation is the first business driver, which helps us win new customers. Second is our focus on landing larger deals. Our field teams are focused clearly on taking Freshworks products into more mature and larger organizations, mid-market organizations. So that is also driving a lot of our growth. Third is our focus on expansion. Even in this macro environment where we see that agent addition, seat addition is under pressure because companies are not hiring, but we were able to expand through multiple products and customers are spending more with us. So expansion is the third driver. The last but not the least is our focus on operational efficiency. How do we keep running a tight ship and actually turning Freshworks towards profitability? So those are the 4 key business drivers, and we will continue to leverage on all 4 as we step into 2023 and execute.
You know, I can't help but ask just what the update is on the legal case where U.S. investors have alleged that the company didn't disclose the full extent of the business challenges at the time of the IPO. What's happening on that front?
No, I think I cannot comment on ongoing legal stuff, but our legal teams are actually working on it. It's a long drawn process, but I think we are confident that like our legal teams will do what is right, and we will see it through.
You know, in December, the company laid off about 90 employees globally. There was that meltdown that we saw in tech stocks, which was, you know, really playing out at the time. Are there going to be more layoffs? What is your outlook?
So, see, I'd like to clarify that what happened in December was, see, we are a company with 5,400 employees, right? So it was a restructuring decision it was limited to certain teams in marketing and sales. And so to call it a company-wide layoff is actually not right, in my opinion. But again, we understand that people's jobs were impacted, and we did everything that we could to help those employees secure positions in other companies. Okay, to answer your question, I think, every company has to do what is right for the business, and we are always looking at how to run the company efficiently, right? So I think if you're running a company and we're playing by the rules of, I want to build a blue chip public company, right? So which means I have to run the company efficiently in sales and marketing, overall turning the company towards profitability. So we will always continue to look at how are we doing, and I'm glad that we are doing things well, and we know what areas we need to improve. We'll continue to run the business efficiently.
Fair enough. And I also want to understand your take on new age tech companies, because they've been at the receiving end of the wrath of the market, and now there's been a lot of focus on profitability and really pulling up their socks. Markets are now looking at these companies a lot more favorably. What's been your assessment?
See, first of all, I think the global tech meltdown is global, not specific to India, right? And markets, you have to understand that, like at least say 18 months ago, 2 years ago, the markets were valuing growth a lot, and think of market as a multiple, right? So the higher multiples were awarded to stocks that were growing nicely, and that was the focus that was being rewarded. And with the macro conditions changing, and there is a shift towards investors wanting profitability. And end of the day, when I look at running a business long term, it is always about, hey, how do you balance growth and profitability? And we have always said that, hey, we will continue to grow and invest in growth as long as we can do it efficiently. So growth at all costs was never our principle. And I think all businesses would do well to kind of adopt that business, saying, hey, how do you balance growth and profitability? And you have to understand that when investors buy your stock, like they are buying it for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and they want to kind of see that, hey, this company can become profitable and keep getting more and more efficient and keep growing. So all three are important, and that is what every business has to do. In the short term, you may have to balance things differently, but in the long term, we are very clear on how we want to run.
Have you looked at any of the new age tech companies closely, in particular, anything that stands out according to you?
I don't even check the price of Freshworks stock every day, so we are busy building the business.
Okay, let's move on and just understand a little bit about how you've built the business, what your outlook is when it comes to advice for entrepreneurs down the line. So you're the third Chennai-based company that's actually listed on the NASDAQ after Cognizant and SIFI. And what initially caught everyone's attention was the fact that the code name for the IPO was Project Superstar. And I know that was named after Rajni because you're a big fan. So what was really the thought process behind the brand, behind the journey, and even behind that code name?
No, I think we are all super happy with how it turned out. I think this was actually an idea from our, like the original, when we were planning for the IPO, I think there usually is a code name because you want all the bankers and the lawyers and everybody who's involved to actually use that code name. And I think it was initially called Project Falcon or something, which was a suggestion from our VP of Investor Relations. And so he felt that Falcon is F and Freshworks is F. And I said, okay, if we are going to do something like that, and I have a better suggestion than Falcon, and let's call it Superstar, because Freshworks is a company from Chennai, South India, and with global aspirations. And who better to represent that, like a global star from South India who's loved all over the world and who has really successful but yet humble. I think that truly captured what I wanted to tell the world. And in fact, the funny story is my VP of IR, Investor Relations, is Korean, so he did not know who Superstar was. And he was actually saying, hey, if you call it a superstar, then it's like we are giving ourselves a super tag, and that may not go well. I told him about Superstar and gave the whole story, and then everybody agreed. And I think we all know it was a a fantastic IPO, and how could it not have a great opening if it's superstar?
And clearly you're living the American dream, from, like I said, a 700 square foot room in Chennai to now listing on the NASDAQ. What have been some of your learnings, lessons, regrets?
No, I think I'm always happy. That's my number one life lesson is I choose to be happy, so I don't have any regrets. I can't complain. And I would still say I'm living the Indian dream, right? So you can take, as we say, you can take a Madrasi out of Madras, but you can't take Madras out of Madrasi. So I am still pretty much Indian at heart. And I now travel a lot, and I look at myself as living in every city that I travel to. So I have no regrets.
So do you have any advice for young entrepreneurs as to how they should be running a business in a very tough and competitive environment, but also at the same time when there's a lot of opportunity?
No, I think focus on first principles. End of the day, build something that customers want. Make sure you can articulate the solution to the problem clearly well. Get customers and they will take you. I would always tell any entrepreneur that the foundation for a really successful business is built on happy customers.
So what is it that you, Girish, will look for in a SaaS company?
No, I think originally when we started Fresh Desk, the whole idea was to create a fresh help desk. And we always wanted to be bringing in whatever is new for our customers to solve, be relevant. And Fresh is a great brand name. And Freshworks became, when we had multiple products, Freshworks became a natural choice for all to be the home of all Freshworks brands. I think what I look for in any SaaS company, like I can speak as an investor, the first thing I look for is the founder and what gives the founder the right to win in that market. Like, have they really lived through that problem and do they have deep understanding of the domain? The second is the market, which is how big the market is, and the ability of the founder to hire an A team, and can they build a well-rounded team. Early days, that's all you can see, right? You can't predict future success.
What a pleasure it's been interacting with you. Thank you so much for taking time out and giving us an all-round view on the business, and wishing you all the very best. With that, we come to the end of this edition of Startup Central. Do reach out to us on sec@etnow.tv. It's goodbye from me.